Go ahead with your questions.
Okay, Rob. 3 questions, 10 minutes.
Okay.
How is a perfect day for you? How do you spend a perfect day if you want to?
It's funny you say that because so many days at the end of the day, my wife Fran and I we'll do that and go, Jesus, like another like killer day. You know, she works with me about 20 hours a week on the film and television stuff. And, you know, so, and we made Logan's record here at the house and had him staying over most of those nights so we could work on stuff. You know, so we get to work with these like amazing people on film and television and records. And, you know, for me, it's waking up at probably by 8 o'clock. We make some fresh coffee. You know, we grind our own coffee beans.
Cool.
And, you know, when the weather's lovely, which is, you know, more than half of the year, we're out front having our coffee on the front porch. Some of the 6 neighborhood kids that live next door, they're all like 14 and younger. They're on our porch too. Okay. It's kind of like their second porch. And the other neighbor kids are around, and, you know, maybe she and I are just, you know, we talk sometimes for an hour every morning, almost every morning, right? And sometimes we talk again at night for an hour. And everything in between is, you know, social justice, you know, music, art. She's an amazing visual artist. Our family, you know, satisfying work. And I don't know, a perfect day is, you know, I get on my bike, I go ride for, you know, an hour and 20 minutes. I'm 64 years old. I wake up and I feel good. I don't feel like, you know, I'm fortunate. I still feel good. A perfect day is most days. I got to say. Yeah. That's what most of our days are like.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah. It's interesting to hear. Question number 2. We talked about it a little bit, but if you think about where you are today, it's like a, you know, standard question, I guess. But if you think where you are today and where you are in 1 year from now, I mean, like with the films and yeah, I don't know. Where do you see yourself in
a
year from now?
Well, I see myself with 2 new albums out.
Yeah.
And probably finishing up Layla's album. And we have a feature film documentary that will be out by then, for sure. We're trying to get it into the Berlin Film Festival right now.
Can I ask you a documentary about?
This is a documentary about the lack of access to clean water on the indigenous reserves across this continent.
Yeah.
Right. So many of those reserves and communities don't have clean water.
Yeah.
So it's a documentary about that. Yeah. And actually it stars Layla. She's the feature of the documentary. So it's being edited right now, and that'll be completed. I imagine we'll have a couple other of our projects. We have some that we're in early stages of development right now, writing scripts and you know, putting together the materials to get funding, all that stuff. So we'll be moving forward with those projects, and I'll probably be writing songs, and I imagine my kids are all going to be healthy and happy, because they are. Cool. You know, they've worked hard to be healthy and happy, and I imagine Franny and I'll be doing what we do most days, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, if you're happy with what you're doing, it's just to continue
carry on
doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, well, that's what we say when we do this. That was a great day. Then quite often I'll say, let's do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Question number 3. That's a really difficult one, I think, but it's something I've been thinking about, because where do you think, what made you be the one that you are? I mean, musically, or what your interests?
Wow.
Yeah. I start to think about it. Why I like that kind of music? Why do I like that kind of art? Why do I like what makes you kind of, if you look at the picture, why do I like that and not that one? Or if I listen to that music, why don't I like that one? Do you think there's something that shaped you?
I think, musically it would be probably the singer-songwriters I listened to when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. When I started, I listened to, I saw Led Zeppelin play 3 times.
Shit.
Yeah. By the time I was 14, by the way.
Wow.
I was 12 the first time. Zeppelin, then I went from the Beatles to Zeppelin, Deep Purple. And then Zeppelin got me into like some folk music. I started reading about their influences, right?
Yeah.
And, and that's when I discovered James Taylor. He was on the Beatles. He was on their label, Apple.
Apple,
yeah. And then I was like, oh, Neil Young and Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen.
John Hyatt, do you listen to him?
Oh, John Hyatt. I discovered him later, but I discovered those singer-songwriters, Jackson Browne, Lyle Lovett, Bonnie Raitt, and they told stories, and those stories sucked me in. Those songs like pulled me in, and I was there. I was there in the scene they were describing. I could feel it. I could smell it. I could smell the place and smell the cooking or whatever it was. I'm thinking of a Lyle Lovett. He has a record called Joshua Judges Ruth, and it's all about like families and meals and crises and life and death and funerals and births. And you feel like I felt like I was there, right?
Yeah.
So that really changed how I watch movies, how I read, and how I listen to music, was those storytellers that could pull you in.
Yeah.
That was it for me, right? So that's what I look for.
Yeah.
And that's what I aim for if I'm writing. I don't aim for it in a way like I'm going to write a song and I want you to relate to what I'm saying, but I'm hoping that a listener comes up with a picture in their head. It's not going to be like the picture in my head when I wrote it.
No.
That they have their own picture.
Yeah.
And it's about something else to them. That's fine, right? I've had people say, "Oh, your song, Raining All Over. Oh, it's like it's like you wrote it about my grandmother." And it's like I wrote it about my son.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever you feel when you hear the song, yes, you're right. That's what it's about.
And sometimes I think it happened to me at least. But sometimes you hear a song, and you understand the lyrics and whatever, and then suddenly 2 years later you're in that state of mind, or you're heartbroken, and suddenly it's like, wow, that's what he meant,
Yeah, it's like a different song.
So sometimes I think the song is not connecting to you in 100%, but sometimes it does.
My favorite thing. So I used to run a camp for songwriters. I did that for a bunch of years, right?
Yeah.
And now I resigned from it in the last couple of years because of all the film and television stuff. But I left it in really good hands, with one of my faculty assistants who now runs the camp.
Yeah.
And I would tell the kids, like they were 8 years old to 17 or 18, and I said, I'll tell you what the magic of writing is that your song will mean different things to you as you read it back 10 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later, 40 years later. And I can tell them that because I've experienced it. You know, and it might mean something to you now, or maybe you don't know what it means, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it'll come to you. That song will have a little life of its own, and it'll come back to you. And it's true. And I've had some of my songwriting campers were just on tour opening up for Incubus in the UK. Some of them were just touring in Canada, opening up for a big band here called the Arkells. They're playing in front of 8,000 people a night, whatever it is. And sometimes they tell me that what I said was true. I'm like, I know it's true. I lived it. I know. And now they get to go out and, you know, they're 10 years into their music career, you know, and touring the world. And the songs they wrote when they were 15 or 18 or 20, those songs come back around. And that's the magic of it for me, you know. It's not just the other people's songs that grow on me or change for me over the years, but my own songs. I think that's like miraculous.
Yeah, it's fantastic world. All right, okay. Should we do part 2 in the summer then?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you see that.
This to me was like a great conversation.
Yeah. To me too. I love talking music.
I appreciate this so much. And if you're just starting doing this, you're doing okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Take care, and we talk later.
We'll talk again.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.